Hi, everybody. Carol here. It's time for the weekly video lesson from Spirit. And I know that today I'm being inspired to talk to you about timelines. Now, it's interesting because last week we learned about sideline, and today we're going to learn about timelines. When it comes to making lasting changes, we want to make sure that we're following our passion and really creating something rather than focusing on these negative things. We want to focus on the positive. We learned in last week's lesson not to get sidelined by others, by ourselves, and also by time. And so, interestingly enough, we're going to talk today about timelines. And what Spirit is telling me is we must understand that there is divine timing to everything. We tend to think that we are in control of the pace. It's important to recognize that everything has to evolve in a certain way. We need to make sure that we are integrating our learning and our experiences, and this means that it's going to take time. We tend to believe that, and we falsely believe, is what I'm hearing, is that when we do step A and step B and step C, everything is going to come out the way that we want and how we want it. But what happens is they're talking about the fact that when we take a couple of steps forward, we also need to recognize that there are going to be these backward steps. That is when we associate and identify with failure. And what Spirit is telling me to tell you right now, this is not failure. This is learning. This is necessary. You need to take the steps that fall back. They're saying the steps where you're recognizing that you're failing and not moving forward are not failure, but they're aspects that need to be looked at. We need to examine what it was that made us move backwards or take that step backwards. This, they say, is where the secret is in the change. So we cannot look at timeline as success, 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 success. We are going to have some successes and we are going to have setbacks, and we need to honor this timing. We cannot achieve our goals if we are not eradicating or removing those aspects that keep us from moving forward. We can implement all the new habits we want. We can have all the desire and creativity for change that we want in our lives. But if we do not examine the limitations, right, the things that are keeping us from manifesting our goals and desires, we also are not going to move forward. So we need to understand that creating lasting change doesn't come just from this sense of compassion or from this sense of passion, pardon me, because they're saying passion is very important. We want that passion and creativity. That's what continues to drive us forward. But it is this negativity or failure that we need to shift into an observation of a limitation that needs to be overcome. This is where the expansion and growth needs to take place. What often happens is we apply more will. Spirit is saying we tend not to look at that as a growth opportunity. We tend to look at that as a failure, a negativity. We place this burden and our stress on ourselves that we're no good. We move into this negative vocabulary. I can hear all this negativity going in my head, where we chitter chatter with ourselves. I'm not good enough. I overate. I failed. Why bother? And they're going, this is not what the purpose of these backslides are for. We all have them. We must evaluate them for the value that they have in our expansion and our growth. So the goal that they're asking me to share with you today is to stop when you're having a backslide and ask yourself, what happened? Don't tell yourself you're a failure, but say something is here that I need to examine. And I'm getting this example with food. Let's say, for example, you did really well and you were doing really well. And the next day I'm seeing a cookie, right? So they're showing me a cookie and I had a cookie. And the next thing you're going to find yourself doing is maybe you ate 4 or 5 cookies. And then you told yourself, oh my gosh, I ate the whole bag. And then the next day you told yourself, well, I failed. It's all over. They're going, this is failure because of what you told yourself. This is not a failure because you had a moment of weakness. Everyone has moments of weakness. Spirit says if you do not recognize your weaknesses, you will not turn them into strengths. So stop telling yourself that you're a failure. Stop telling yourself that you're weak, but that you had an experience, you had a backslide that needs to be transitioned into something more. What was it that made you eat the cookie? Were you sad? Were you hungry? Were you just in need of something pleasurable in that moment? The moment is over, it's gone. They're saying, let it go. Stop hanging on to it. It's the hanging on to things that creates your trauma. Don't you see this? They're saying it's the guilt, it's the shame, it's you reliving the experience. The next day, if you tell yourself you were a bad person and you imagine eating the cookies over and over again, what are you doing to yourselves? Why would you tell yourself this? This is not how we in spirit would speak to you. Why would you speak to yourself? You are to love yourselves, to forgive yourselves as we forgive you. So you ate the cookie. Ask yourself why. You enjoyed that experience or you wouldn't have chosen it. Don't beat yourself up. Ask yourself how you can move forward and prevent that again. Perhaps you need to allow yourself to have a cookie once a week, but this time it will only be 3 and it will only be 1 day a week. Isn't this a better way to treat yourself, to love yourself? Get back on those habits that are good for you. Move towards your passion and desire, but stop beating yourself up. Stop berating yourselves and calling yourselves less than or unworthy or failures. These are terms you heap on yourselves. We in spirit would never speak to you this way. And those who connect with your loved ones and your guides and the teachers that come to you in spirit, you already know this. You do this to yourselves. We ask you to stop. It is not loving and you will not proceed. So recognize these timelines, these backslides, not as something as errors or mistakes, but moments of awareness that you can transform into success. Compromise with yourself until you can make new compromises and new bargains, but don't give up where you're going. Don't stop moving forward. You are always growing and you are always expanding. Stay in your passion, stay in your creativity and your desire. Love yourself, remove negative self-talk, but be willing to grow, to expand, to do the work, and to move in that direction. Yes, we know it will be painful. You have created these experiences. You have told yourself negative thoughts for long periods of time. These things cannot be untrained overnight, but you are either trending up or trending down. You know where you want to go. You know where you need to go. Don't give up. We are with you. We are here. We are supporting you. Call on us when you need us. Your spiritual team, not mine, they're saying, right? Your spiritual team, your loved ones. Ask for that strength. Ask for that emotion that you need to be given to you to get you through those moments. But also they're saying, ask for the awareness that you need to help you make better decisions. You may find that the cookies came in because you were telling yourself you were a bad person. Then you heard your mother that used to call you a bad person. Or then you heard the ridicule that you received in high school telling you that you were a bad person. And the next thing that you know, the one thing that you told yourself was actually the voices of other people. And those cookies became the single comfort that you had that made you feel like you were okay. You know, and you can see that these things don't work. The cookie may be the enemy of your health, but your thoughts and your emotions are your enemy of your body and your healing and your creativity and your passion. When you begin to look at that, you will see not just the cookie as the enemy, but your own emotional and mental state. We in spirit, they're saying spirit wants you to move into a state of healing, but recognizing that it will take time and that we need to honor divine timing, the timing that is for us, that is divine, not their divine timing, our divine timing. They're saying we need to process, to integrate, to understand these behaviors that we have that are preventing us from moving into that creativity, into that passion, into those desires that we want for ourselves. They are possible. They are saying to me, they are always possible. You want them. They've been put into you for a reason. God has given you these desires that you want because you are capable of manifesting them, because they will help you to heal, because they will move you into these states that are less than appealing for you to transmute them, to grow beyond them, to find the gifts and the joys. And when you do this, you will be able to help others and you will lead a more joyous life as well. So Spirit says, thank you for listening today. Thank you for allowing them to share these messages with you. Their love and their passion is only for all of us here on earth to continue to grow, to heal, and to expand. And they hope that your words will have some wisdom and sink in for you today. So thanks for watching. And until next week, when I'll bring you another message from Spirit. Thank you. Bye-bye.